What's up guys, today I'm going to show you how to trim and cook a dry aged prime rib, starting from a dry aged bone-in ribeye roast. Let's get into it. So the first thing I always do when I'm trimming a bone-in ribeye roast like this is take out the bones. However, if you don't have an electric bone saw, this can be pretty difficult, so I would recommend taking out the bones individually like I did. And once we take those bones out, now we can focus on trimming the rest of the ribeye roast, which is pretty simple. It really just consists of trimming the outer layer, or what people call the pellicle, off of the ribeye roast. And when you're cutting off that pellicle, you want to make sure not to throw any of those trimmings away, as they make great for dry aged beef tallow. And once I cut a nice sized steak off of that ribeye roast, I got my prime rib, and all that was left to do was a bit more trimming before I got the prime rib all seasoned up. And this is what the ribeye roast looks like before we get it all seasoned up. Mind you, this is 30-day dry aged USDA choice black Angus beef, so it's no surprise that it's pretty decent marbling. And for my base seasoning, I use my salt, pepper, and garlic seasoning. And for any prime rib, no matter the size, it's extremely important that you season all sides. Prime ribs can range anywhere from 3 or 3.5 pounds all the way up to 25 plus pounds, meaning that this is a huge piece of meat. So because of this, you need to season all sides very generously so that seasoning will penetrate. And I would suggest using more than one seasoning like I did. For example, using a simple base seasoning like my salt, pepper, and garlic seasoning, and then finishing atop with whatever seasoning of your choice. I chose to use an onion butter seasoning that I found at the grocery store, but you can use whatever you like. And always make sure to get as much seasoning off that cutting board as you can. And this is what the prime rib looks like all seasoned up. Now I'm going to put it in the fridge and let it chill overnight so all that seasoning can penetrate all the way through the meat. And 24 hours later, it's time to get out my pan as well as my wire rack, and we place a pan under the prime rib so when all those juices start coming out, we're able to save them. In this prime rib, I'm starting out cooking it super low and slow at only 200 degrees, and into the oven it goes for some hours until it reaches about 115 internal. And after about 2.5 hours on 200, the prime rib reached about 115 internal. But you should note that because this is dry aged, it cooked a lot faster, and a normal prime rib of this size will probably take at least an hour longer. But as you can see, the prime rib looks beautiful. And if you wanted to, you could let this sit until it reached about 130 degrees internal and eat it like that. However, I like a nice crust on my prime ribs, so I got out some of my famous bone marrow compound butter and I started smearing it all over the prime rib, making sure I covered the entire surface area of the steak so I can assure myself a nice crust in the end. And a step I forgot to mention before, but as soon as you take your prime rib out of the oven, when it reaches 115 internal, you have to crank it up to 500 so that as soon as you're done buttering your prime rib for that nice crust, you're able to throw it right in the oven immediately. And I let the prime rib sit in the oven on 500 degrees for about 10 to 15 minutes, but I honestly wasn't really checking the clock. I was really just looking at the crust to see when it was done. But once I felt like I had a nice crust on it, I took it out to let it rest. And about 30 minutes later, the prime rib is ready to cut open and taste. And honestly, just looking at the prime rib, it was making my mouth water, but I had to keep my composure for the video. And after I cut it open, I definitely noticed I got the temperature that I wanted. But first, let's analyze the crust. So as you can see, buttering the outer layer of the prime rib and throwing it back in the oven at high temperature definitely puts on a nice crust, so it's most definitely something I would recommend you do. And as for the prime rib, it was a nice medium. I would have preferred a more medium rare prime rib. However, my family was eating this too, and they strongly prefer a more medium or medium well prime rib, so I had to compromise and meet somewhere in the middle. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't really like thick slices of prime rib. I don't know why, but when I eat thinner slices like this, I feel like I could eat the whole prime rib. But if you gave me one thick slice of prime rib, I doubt I could finish it. And as for the taste of the prime rib, it was extremely tender and juicy. That dry age pretty much ensures it's going to be extremely tender. But because it was only 30 days, it wasn't a super intense flavor. And you could really taste that bone marrow butter on the outer layer of the prime rib. But I took it a step further, adding even more bone marrow butter to my slices of prime rib. And if you guys have made it to the end of this video, I want to say thank you so much for watching. Please let me know what you think in the comments. Please make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And as always, have a great day.